Hi, I'm Libby Gibson, Town Manager. Welcome to What's Going On in Town Government. We had a lengthy board meeting last night. We had a lot to do though, and we got a lot done. Among the things we got done, I can't possibly touch on everything because it was too much, but it was public hearing Wednesday. We had a few public hearings about, let's see, we had an application for what's technically called a junk, old metals, and secondhand articles license. This is really for like a consignment shop, a thrift shop, a secondhand store. And it turns out we've discovered over the last year or so, we haven't been licensing these businesses, and we're supposed to by law. So we've had them in, they've been coming in as they can to get licensed.
This is a new business?
It's not a new business. It's at 17B North Beach Street. It's called Island Treasures. It's a consignment shop. It's been there a while.
Beach Street. Why don't I know where that is?
Do you know? It's the road that goes to Jetties. You know where?
Is it in? Yeah.
It's in the.
Al Silva's old place?
Yes, Al Silva's old place. Yes, there.
Right.
So that was approved. We had a couple of telephone petitions. We reviewed fiscal 17 enterprise fund budgets, Our Island Home, solid waste and. We had a business license process discussion. We are changing our process a bit about mobile food units. I won't go into every detail now, but essentially we are going to allow 3 categories of mobile food units. One is a kind of a fixed category, and we're allowing 2 mobile food units to be at specific beaches. I can't even remember what they are right now, but this is all going to get posted online, and the existing mobile food unit licensees will be notified. The process is going to be, we're going to bid out the locations. So if you have the winning bid, which would be the high bid, plus adherence to all conditions, any and all conditions.
You mean the low bid?
No, the high bid. We want to bring in money. So if you bid $1,000, the $2,000 person is going to get it.
Oh, I got you.
Because they're paying us.
I'm sorry.
So it's the reverse, is what you
I know. I
think.
don't know why I was thinking that.
It's okay. So anyway, we're going to designate 2 spots at these beaches for mobile food units. That'll be your spot. No one else can go there. But you will be paying the town fees, which total about $500, plus the fee to be there at the location. We also have roamers, which are sort of like ice cream trucks and things in neighborhoods, but they cannot go to the spots where the fixed people are. And then we'll have
really
right.
Could I start my own like bicycle ice cream, driving around the old style?
Yeah.
Is that legal?
Yep.
On a bicycle too?
I think so.
Ooh.
Don't even think about it though. That wouldn't be good.
I got too many other things going.
Yeah, Gino, I can't really imagine that.
But boy, wouldn't that be nice?
Would it?
I don't know. I love the idea of a bicycle with the
bell. You doing it or somebody else?
Somebody else doing it.
Yeah. Well,
not me.
I don't know.
But no.
I have to think it through. Anyway. Then the other category is like special event food trucks that would come over or be located at an event, generally on private property, but not always, just for that event. So we went through that. The board approved our policy, and again, we're going to be getting it out there for people to see. We're going to be doing bid documents very shortly. We also talked about filming policy. A filming policy. We have a filming policy, but we want to revise it because we're getting inundated with requests for filming.
Seriously?
Movies, commercials, shows, all kinds of things. Some of it is not on town property. So if it's not on town property and it doesn't involve any town resources, we don't care. Of course we care.
What kind of things are we getting requests for? Like reality?
Travel channel. There's been some reality show requests, yes. Travel channel, there's been some movie requests, there's catalog shoots, things like that. What we got a little hung up on was who it doesn't apply to. It doesn't apply to you, Gino, if you're going to go interview people around town. It doesn't apply to a photographer who wants to take a picture of a family at the beach, or they've hired him. It doesn't apply to somebody doing wedding photography or wedding videography. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't spelled out like that in the policy. So we're going to revise it and bring it back to the board. We also had a presentation by the fire chief about advanced life support ambulance service. Right now we have what's called basic life support, and our intent is to move to advanced life support over a phased period of time. It's going to take at least 2 years, maybe a little bit more. So we were talking about the cost, what's involved, what's the difference, what are the trends. The chief, in addition to this, the chief is requesting additional staff, not even to do with ALS, but to do with the fact that our response times could be improved to the national, more closer to the national standard. We have a percentage of calls that don't meet that national standard for a variety of reasons, but some of it is because we just don't have the people to respond if there's multiple calls at one time.
How much, I mean, we're going to talk about how much money this is going to cost, right?
Yes, yes, and we talked about it a bit last night. Right now we have mostly assumptions and estimates for the costs because there are have to do to get final costs like union bargaining and some other stuff. And the intent is that there is a cost to the program, but it would be offset substantially by an increase in the ambulance fees. However, you have to work in assumptions on what you're going to collect there as well. So the numbers probably need a little bit more work, but I think the concept is favorable.
Would the selectmen approve it, or does it have to go to town meeting?
It will have to go to town meeting for the budget numbers, yes,
Yeah.
and it's in our fiscal 17 budget.
Okay.
We've been to the finance committee. They asked a few questions that we need to get back to them on. The board seemed supportive, so I think we're gonna move ahead pending any other issue with the budget numbers. I'm trying to get the highlights only.
Well,
I'm not talking about everything. Yeah, the sewer. So the board adopted the 2016 annual town meeting warrant, and we had some discussion about the sewer projects that the board had initially planned to put on the warrant, which were 2. Okay, now this gets a little complicated. The 2 that were initially planned to go before the voters at the 2016 town meeting were what's known as Mattocket and Somerset. Those are 2 needs areas. Needs areas are areas that are contained within the comprehensive wastewater management plan that the town is required to have by state and federal requirements. These are areas which have been identified as needing to be sewered, basically. To make a long story short, there are some other considerations as well, but that's the bottom line. So that area, as well as an area that was being called Monomoy, but geographically it's really more Shimo area, so we've retitled it Nantucket Harbor Shimo, so we're trying to call it that more. And in addition to that project, there's what we're calling the plus parcels, which has been a little confusing because they have the plus has nothing to do with the plus department. It has to do with additional parcels that should be sewered because areas right around them are sewered. They're the so-called donut holes that aren't sewered for whatever reason now, but should be for consistency purposes. So, to make a long story short, maybe we don't have to go through every painful item, but and it's difficult. These are costly projects. They're going to cost the taxpayers money. They're going to cost the people who are getting bettered by the sewer in front of your property. If you're not on sewer, if you're one of these parcels, you're going to be paying for some of this, and it's a lot of money. But this has been a lot of money. This has been coming down the road for years. We have to address these sewer projects, and if we don't, at some point the state is going to force us to on their terms, not ours. So we want to make sure that we address them on our own. The board, so they've taken off.
What would that mean, though?
Well, it could mean, Brian, the finance director, sort of mentioned one of the consequences last night, which was you would no longer be eligible for a 0% state loan. You'd have to go out on the market and get a loan, which would add millions to the cost of this project. We don't want to add millions. We want to take away millions. So that's one possibility. Overall, of course, the issue is water quality, and we want to make sure our harbors, estuaries, ponds, drinking water remains clean. And that has a lot of impacts.
Everywhere, then. I mean, if we're going to spend this kind of money, and we're talking, how much money are we talking? Like, I mean,
overall,
a figure was brought up of $80,000 for one home they would have to pay.
Right.
That is crazy money. To me, it is.
Yes.
Maybe not to someone
Agree.
else.
It's payable over a 20 to 30-year period, but that doesn't necessarily make it a lot better to somebody.
All right.
It's a lot of money.
Right, but if we're going to take all of that and we're going to make that so serious, aren't we going to have to look at everything on the island, at anything that affects water quality, including fertilizers?
Which we are. We are. Right. But sewer is the way to 100% deal with it. There's not,
well,
I shouldn't say 100%, except for, I mean, fertilizer is something that wouldn't be captured by sewer.
That's right.
Obviously. So
And that has a big effect, doesn't it?
Well, yes, it does. I guess there might be varying thoughts on the effect of fertilizer. I think some people say septic is a bigger problem. Some people say fertilizer is a bigger problem. And they're both nitrogen related. So it's a little hard to parse out which one is the worst culprit, really.
Well,
anyway,
we could go on and on.
We could spend the next several hours on this.
And you probably have to bring in, you know, some experts.
Oh, all kinds of experts, because your expert might not be my expert.
Exactly.
So anyway, to make a long story short, the board is going to put forward one project, the Nantucket Harbor Shimo /Plus project. And right now, their proposal to fund it is through the 0% state loan, which is great, but 60% would be funded by the abutters and the rest by the taxpayers. And that may very well be this topic of discussion at upcoming finance committee and other meetings and at town meeting. So those
are expensive properties.
They are.
Okay.
Well, those are
the most expensive.
The betterments are based on land value. So
okay.
There you go. In any case,
when is this going to happen?
Well, this would be an article on the 2016 April 2nd annual town meeting warrant. It's subject to a subsequent ballot question at the week or so later's annual town election. We have a series of things we're trying to work on right now. We intend to get a newsletter out hopefully next week to all postal patrons, which explains the plan and the projects. We are working on getting meetings together with the Nantucket Civic League, for example, the Town Association. We have a Finance Committee meeting today about it. We are having a Board of Selectmen's workshop on February 10th, which is meant, it's kind of a water quality related workshop. We're going to be doing, reviewing 2015 water quality testing. We're going to be reviewing some other water quality initiatives that we've been working on, as well as the sewer projects and the sewer plan, the wastewater plan we're calling it. And that's going to be meant to be an informational session to answer people's questions. And some of the questions came up last night, which have been being discussed for a number of months now. For example, if you have just installed or fairly recently installed an IA system, an innovative alternative system, septic system, which is maybe also called a Title V system, you might not be too excited. You've paid tens of thousands of dollars for that system. You might not appreciate, well, I don't know, maybe appreciate is not a good word. Sewer would be coming in now, and we would say, oh, by the way, abandon your septic system, connect to the sewer within 2 years or a period of time, and that's another thousands of dollars. 80 is one number. There's higher numbers as well. So people are saying, well, what kind of a break or accommodation is going to be given to the septic users? We haven't got, I don't know what that's going to be. Maybe one accommodation that has been a little bit discussed is to delay the connection to the sewer, possibly. But this all is going to have to be further discussed. I'm not sure what, if any, accommodation can be made, quite honestly. So. Well,
I mean, there's other ways of bringing the money in too, right? I mean, creative ways.
Like a fundraiser?
No, like land bank. Is that possible?
Well, so let's switch to that.
Estate, I mean,
we also have talked about a home rule petition, special legislation for basically what comes down to, and the board approved this as an article last night, an additional 0.5% increase in the real estate transfer tax to be paid by, I think they ended up with being paid by the seller of a property. The funds would go into a special account to be used for affordable housing first, and then a certain amount left over could go to sewer projects. So yes, that is a potential future funding source, provided it all passes, which we haven't even gotten to town meeting yet. So that was another significant thing we discussed regarding the warrant. After we got through the warrant, that took a while, we had 3 HDC appeals. 2 were continued from prior meetings and 1 was new. One of the ones that was continued from a prior meeting was continued again to next week. The other, which had to do with 6 Marble Way, the Board of Selectmen upheld the HDC. And after some lengthy discussion, they also upheld the third appeal. The third appeal, they upheld the HDC decision on the third one, which has to do with the tennis court and fence at 250 Pulpus Road. I didn't totally follow that whole thing. It was late by then.
Yeah.
I'm impressed that the Board of Selectmen maintained attention during that, because my attention wavered at that point, I will freely admit. I think yours did too.
Well,
in fact, I think you just left.
That one I did leave on.
Yeah.
That was the final straw.
Yeah.
But they did, what did they come up with on the Somerset Road deal?
Sewer?
No, somebody, the HDC thing, they wanted to build.
Oh, that was Marble Way, 6 Marble Way.
Right.
They upheld the HDC. So the HDC had approved a large commercial building.
So it's going to happen.
So it's going to happen.
Okay.
I mean, if the person proceeds. It's
right.
The decision itself was upheld.
It's done.
Next week, we have, it's sort of like Real Estate Wednesday next week. We have a number of real estate items. We also have more enterprise fund budget reviews for the next fiscal year, the airport and water. We have one of those HDC appeals again, and we're going to be having another continuation of our discussion about ways in which to get people in bikes again.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So that's coming.
It's coming again. And that was about it.
Well, that'll be interesting.
Yeah, so we know we're expecting some weather. It doesn't really look like it right now at all.
No.
But that doesn't mean anything till tomorrow.
You got it.
Not tomorrow.
Saturday. Right.
We'll see how it goes. I think you'll probably be able to thank me for weather on Saturday, possibly, because I've canceled all my going off island plans. So in all